Hello everybody, it is I, Atlas, aka Trying to Find Atlas, and welcome back to another YouTube video on this channel. This week's video, I will be introducing you to my original character, Patch, which is short for Patricia, but we don't talk about that. Do you like my mug? Now let's get in to this week's video. So let's start at the very beginning with my second sketchbook, sketchbook number 2. Started October 6th, 2019. Not long ago at all, actually, for this being my second sketchbook, because I think I'm on like my 8th sketchbook. This sketchbook has the first appearance of Patch. I was like, you know what, I want to try drawing in a ballpoint pen. So I took it out and I drew a couple character designs. And I came up with something, I love this page. So the girl right here, this is Patch. At the time, her name was actually Esme. I don't know why I thought that was an attractive name, but I wasn't looking for an attractive name. I was looking for a name that fit the character, and I think the meaning of that name fits the character. I don't exactly know the meaning off the top of my head. This is actually her friend, whose name was Oliver. His name is now Reese, and I will make a whole video on him eventually. And I was like, you know what? I want this to be my original character. Ignore all the other drawings on this page. I'll do a tour of this sketchbook soon. So here's me trying to replicate it, and I don't know why I decided to try to replicate it with a ballpoint pen. I could have just gone in with a pencil, but here I am at it again. We're fast forwarding a little bit through that sketchbook, and we come across the first comic that I ever made for the story that they're in, which I like to call Candyland, because they're transported to Candyland in it. Here it is, the sketch of the comic pages. And this is Oliver, who is now Reese, and this is Esme, who is now Patch. I colored this first page. I'll put it up on the screen right here. Give you a couple seconds to read it. You can pause to read it right now. Okay. Here, I actually wrote down, I was gonna do a character design for it right here. So you can see I have like little spaces for both of them. And here's Esme, who is now Patch. I don't need to, Esme is Patch in a story. I'm not gonna keep saying Esme, who is now Patch. Here's Esme, and her personality is, she was a triangle, excitement and risky, so I was going to use a lot of triangles in her design. That sort of evolved into using a lot of more circles in her design. Before they get transported to Candyland, they have a different style that's more simplistic, and after they have a more anime style, you know, so Western cartoon and anime. But I dropped that idea pretty fast just because there wasn't going to be a lot of time in this real world to sort of flesh out the style and differentiate the styles from each other. Here is Esme in our world, and here's Esme in Candyland. That's all we have in this sketchbook. We move on to sketchbook number 3. So I actually decided to do a full drawing of her, and it's been a while since I've drawn her. I've already gone through like half of this sketchbook before I draw her again. But here is me drawing her on April 25th, 2020. So here's her design. As you can see, there's a little splotch in her hair. That was going to signify that she was in Candyland. She was gonna like get stained with something that was sort of a magical goo. I ended up just changing her whole hair color, pink from blonde. So I actually only have one more tab to show you. And this is the coloring that I did for her character. And you'll notice the splotches in her hair. And you'll also notice that her eyes are pink or blue on this page. And they would be blue in our world, but in this world they're pink, and it has to do with the story. Again, just ended up making the hair pink. Here's the page. You can also see her body shape is a lot more pear-shaped, maybe, just more curvy overall. So now we move on to some of the digital stuff that I drew, and lots more pink. I don't actually like this design. I used to really like it, but I think I just like the style I was using. But I did start drawing this comic with these characters, and I thought I would show you a couple of those. Here she is, Patch. By this point, her name was Patch. So the main problem that I had with that character design that I showed you, I kind of liked it, I used it, I drew a whole episode of the comic with it. The main problem I had with it was, one, she was really curvy, and they are 10-year-olds. And 2, she's a really active character. She's always running around, jumping around, and her family is also like these really stereotypical rich white people who are probably all conventionally attractive. She wasn't plus size, but she was plus sized, as you could see. So I did want to make her skinny. I wanted to make her lanky. Like, she does not have a bit of fat on that body. She's extremely skinny, but that also meant that I had to incorporate more roundness into her design. So I have a lot of clouds on this design, and I actually did this only a week ago at this point. You can see that she's very round in her eyes and her hair, but not so much in her body shape. But she has a soft girl aesthetic when she's at home, but when she goes to Candyland, they're sort of stuck in a 1940s era. I had to sort of merge those two styles. But here is a sketch that I did of her, a full body sketch. My sister actually saw it and she was like, I need that sketch. Here is Patch, the final design, not colored. I haven't colored this character, but I know she has blonde hair, which turns pink when she goes to Candyland. And she wears a lot of pastel pinks and pastel blues and pastel yellows, I think, because the pastel yellows will nod to her previous hair color. Just so you know, if you paid attention to the thumbnail of this video, there is a colored version of that sketch, but those are not the final colors. I just did it for the thumbnail. I don't really have character sheets for each character. I sort of have an outline of the internal struggle that all my characters go through in the comics, and then I have an outline of the external struggle that they go through, and then I sort of like pair them together, like this internal struggle is happening at the same time as this external struggle. So I don't really have character sheets, but I do know the evolution of this character, and I know that in the beginning, and something that she never loses is her optimism. Practical Joker, just always running around, always moving, very energetic, very optimistic, and just can't see the bad in the world. And that is how she starts off in a character. Eventually she learns to see the bad, but she starts off just loving life. And that's what I love about Patch. Let's talk about Patch's relationship to some of the characters. We'll talk about the main cast first. Here are some old character designs for them. I'm definitely going to redesign them, but I've only gotten around to redesigning Patch and Reese because I'm in the writing stage of the comic. Patch's best friend is Reese. They've gone to school since they were in daycare, and Reese is the reason that Patch isn't put in a private school by her parents. So Jordan, when they're in Candyland, he sort of acts as their father figure. He's like, I hate kids, but I will tolerate you guys because I'm doing a good thing trying to get you home to your world. And then we have Kit and Kat. Hello, Editing Atlas here, and I'm here to say that as of yesterday, I actually cut Kit out, so it's only Kat. Might change the name since it's a singular person and Kit and Kat doesn't really work anymore, but who knows? Their relationship is, Kat is basically like an older sister to Patch and Reese when they're in Candyland, and she teaches them survival skills and just knows how to navigate the world. So yeah, she's like Patch's big sister. And then there's the sweet old lady Star, and she's sort of the wise old mentor character to the characters. She's trying to keep everyone from breaking down and having mental breakdowns while they're on this journey. And she's the therapist friend. I should mention that the rest of the cast is young. I mean, Patch is 10 and Jordan is like 35 at most. Star is like, they all like care about accomplishing the goal, getting Patch back home, and Reese of course, but Star actually cares about their mental health, and she's the only one who truly understands the significance of their mental health and well-being. So now let's talk about Patch's home life. She comes from a very rich, privileged family. Her parents are super strict. They want her to go to a private school, but again, as I said, she has Reese at her public school, and she does not want to leave Reese behind because they're just such good friends. And her father he's always working. She doesn't really have the greatest relationship with him, and because when he comes home, he's always mad and angry. And her mother's obviously a businesswoman as well. They're both angry people who are super strict and very absent in Patch's life, but still just hang over like a hawk, like just, you know, scrutinizing her every move. So like when they're not around, she's like freedom, and she runs around and is crazy. Of course, she's really made good friends with the butler that they have and all of the staff that her parents hire. Well, she's friends with every single teacher. Every single teacher. The teachers hate her parents. They are like, this kid, good. Parents, stop yelling at me over the phone. I suppose that concludes our video. That's all I wanted to talk about. That's really all I have to say. I cannot wait to share more of this story with you. As you can see, I'm very passionate about it. I've probably cut out an hour's worth of talking. And saying that I cut out an hour is probably not an exaggeration because this was a pain to edit. And you wanna know why? It's because I kept talking about the world building and all the other characters and how much I love them too. I will see you in the next video. I try to upload every week, so stay tuned for next week's video, and I will see you all soon, hopefully. Please like, please subscribe. I should probably start saying that more often. Does that help? I don't know. Anyway, please like, please subscribe. I will see you in our next video. I usually upload every single Wednesday at 12 o'clock p.m. Atlas is out. Peace. That was so cringy. Bye.